Welcome to Brilliant Biology. Today we're diving into the first topic of Unit 4, which is the importance of ATP. By the end of this video, you should learn the difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic organisms, the structure of ATP, the function of ATP, and how ATP is made. As we all know, energy is essential for life. It is used in several processes, including active transport, muscle contraction, and even anabolic reactions. Those are reactions in which a large molecule is made from smaller molecules. We can classify organisms based on how they get their energy. So first we have autotrophic organisms. These are organisms that are able to make their own food. They do this by taking simple compounds from the environment and transforming them into complex organic compounds. Most autotrophs use photosynthesis to do this. They take the sun's energy and convert it into chemical energy, which they then store in glucose. Think of a plant, for example. Now, it's important that you remember that energy is not actually being made. It is simply being converted from sunlight into chemical energy. Then we have heterotrophic organisms. These are organisms that have to eat different organisms to get their foods. They still use the products of photosynthesis, but indirectly, by eating plants or by eating animals that have eaten plants. This way they can still fuel the processes in their bodies which need energy. Now, one molecule plays a universal role in supplying energy within cells. This molecule is called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. ATP is a type of nucleotide, and we have to know its structure. It is made up of three key parts: an adenine base, a ribose sugar, and three phosphate groups, as shown below. But how does ATP release energy? When a cell needs energy, the bond holding the third phosphate group breaks in a reaction called hydrolysis. A hydrolysis reaction is a type of reaction where you add water to a molecule, which then makes that molecule split into two. In this case, ATP is split into adenosine diphosphate and a free phosphate group. Adenosine diphosphate is similar in structure to ATP, only that it has two phosphate groups instead of three, because obviously the third phosphate group split away from it. Now, every time that ATP is hydrolyzed, it releases around 30.5 kilojoules of immediate energy. This means that the cell can use the energy straight away. You have to remember that this whole reaction is also catalyzed by an enzyme called ATPase. The interesting part is that this reaction is also reversible. That means that we can reform ATP by combining adenosine diphosphate and a free phosphate group. This will happen in a condensation reaction, which is basically the opposite of a hydrolysis reaction. So two molecules join together and that releases water. Now you have to remember that this will require an input of about 30.5 kilojoules of energy. You also have to remember that this reaction is catalyzed by the same enzyme ATPase. Because we're adding a phosphate group to adenosine diphosphate to make ATP, this reaction is also often referred to as the phosphorylation of ATP. How is ATP made? The main way in which ATP is made is in the electron transport chain. This is a structure located in the mitochondria and it is made up of several electron carriers. Electrons move along the electron transport chain in a series of redox reactions. Now what this means is that as an electron moves along the chain, the electron carriers will alternate between gaining that electron, becoming reduced, and passing that electron on, or losing that electron and becoming oxidized. This transfer of electrons generates energy, which is then used to fuel the phosphorylation of ATP. So adenosine diphosphate combines with a phosphate group to form ATP. And that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I've made a link in the description box with flashcards which you can use to practice this topic, and they're completely free. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this or found it helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.